Hey everybody, how's it going? It's the Crystal Flaffy, and welcome to an introductory / explanation video towards a new series that's going to be coming on the channel titled If It Could Evolve. Reason I'm doing this is just to give a brief explanation as to what the series is about and certain little details about it that we need to discuss further beforehand. And I figured just make a small separate video for this rather than just tacking it on the beginning of the first episode, just so that one doesn't end up being more lengthy than it needs to be, because you guys already know I ramble. So, first point, or first section of this explanation, which is, what is it? Like, what is this series going to be about? So, it's a series where we're going to hypothesize and theorize what could happen if certain underwhelming Pokemon, or bad Pokemon when it comes to competitive aspects at least, were to receive another stage of evolution. We'll be going in order of the Pokedex, starting in Kanto and working our way all the way to Alola and beyond. So the first Pokemon will be Raticate, which is the first Pokemon that meets the criteria that we have for this series, which is what brings us into the next topic that we're going to explain real quick, which is the criteria. So, first, the Pokemon must either be a basic or stage 1 Pokemon. For those that don't know what that means, check out the TCG. So, basic is the first form of evolution for the Pokemon, so a basic Pokemon would be Bulbasaur. Stage 1 is the first evolution, so Ivysaur, and then stage 2 would be the third stage of evolution, which would be Venusaur. So the Pokemon cannot be in stage 2 already, because there's no Pokemon that evolves after stage 2. I'm not including Mega Evolution in that statement, because Mega Evolution isn't stage 3. There is no stage 3. Mega Evolution is like a 2.5. Also, the Pokemon cannot have a base stat total of over 500. Reason for this is because if its base stat total is that high, it doesn't really need an evolution. Even if it's not that great, an evolution would end up being too broken. It'd have to get too much of a stat increase to be considered an evolution, in my opinion. And then also, the Pokemon cannot have a Mega Evolution. Now, these 2 points kind of go hand in hand. So the Pokemon can't have a Mega Evolution, because Mega Evolution is basically already an evolution for the Pokemon. As I said, it's a 2.5 or a 1.5 or basic 0.5, whichever evolution stage the original Pokemon was at. So there's Mawile, which is a basic. Mega Mawile is like basic 0.5, but still Mega Mawile is super OP, so giving Mawile evolution on top of that doesn't make much sense, right? So Pokemon that do not meet any of the criteria that we just listed will be featured in a separate series somewhere down the line called If It Could Mega Evolve, because those Pokemon are either in their final stage of evolution, they have a high base stat total, so the only way to really improve them is with a Mega Evolution, because they can't get a regular evolution. And then with the last point for the criteria, we won't be giving any alternate evolution lines to Pokemon that already evolved, but there will be few exceptions. For example, like Eevee. Like when we get to Eevee, I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, but we might do a video, or we'll either do one big video or just a couple small videos of other type evolutions of Eevee. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. That's just an example of alternate evolution lines that we can do. And then the last section of what we're going to discuss in this explanation video, they're the details as to what we're going to be discussing in the video. So the first part, we're going to be going in 3 separate categories, with potentially a 4th category for certain Pokemon. The first is the design. I'm going to be designing the evolutions that are going to be showcased in these videos myself. Obviously my designs aren't absolute. There's most likely a better design out there. These are just going to be designs that I feel would fit and that I like. So yeah. Then the next part we're going to be talking about is their stats, the Pokemon's like details and stuff. So their typing, their ability, their base stats, and any new moves that they may learn. The third section of what we're going to discuss is the evolution's new competitive viability, I guess. We're going to be going in the style of Cerebee's Pokemon of the Week type thing, where they go in a brief overview, list some positive and negatives for the Pokemon, then some potential movesets, and then other options that you can tack onto that Pokemon, just that don't really fit into the movesets but can fit if you need it for your team, and then also some team options that might work with the Pokemon, and also some checks and counters, because everything has checks and counters. Well, almost everything. There's a lot of broken Pokemon, but ignoring that, I won't be touching on VGC, simply for the fact that I am not knowledgeable enough in TCG to be able to give any opinion or advice, or just I can't even theorize how it would be good in VGC play, because I don't know anything about it. That's not to say that I'm super good with Smogon and OU and whatnot, which we're going to be aiming to put the Pokemon in OU. I'm not super knowledgeable about that either, but I do have enough knowledge to where I think I can figure out what's good and what's not. And then the fourth and final thing that we'll be discussing in these videos, for competitive, then we'll also be doing some damage calcs for the Pokemon. If it's an offensive mon, it'll be calcs that it does against defensive mons in the OU tier, or whatever tier we're aiming for it to be in. And then if it's a more defensive mon, we'll have some defensive calcs for it, so if it can take, how well it can take certain hits. And then, moving on to the fourth point we're going to be discussing is the Delta Corner. For those that don't know what a Delta Pokemon is, it's basically an Alola form. Delta forms were originally created for the TCG years ago, where the TCG cards had different types. So there was an electric type Dragonite. Alola forms are just the main game's take on that. But obviously it can't be Alola forms for every single region, right? So in the next 8th gen Pokemon games, if they continue using Alola forms, it can't be called an Alola form, right? Because the game isn't going to be set in Alola. So I'm just going to be going by Delta form, because that's what that was the original term for it. So what we're going to be doing for the Delta Corner is we're going to be going over the last 3 points, so design, statistics, and competitive viability for the Delta form as well. So with our first Pokemon, Raticate, since it already has a Delta form, we're going to be doing a new evolution for regular Raticate and for Delta Raticate. And I believe that is all that I wanted to let you guys know, or all the information that I needed to pass on in this video. If It Could Evolve Episode 1 should be coming up very soon. I have it written out, and I have the designs drawn, so all I need to do is sit down, record it, and edit it, and then it'll be ready for you guys to view. Anyways guys, we're going to wrap up this video right here. Make sure you light up the like button down below for me if you enjoyed, and if you are excited for this series to begin. And comment as well, let me know some feedback, and also give me any information or ideas that you think that I should touch upon in future If It Could Evolve videos that you didn't hear me discuss in this one. I might not be able to put it in on time for Raticate, because I'll probably record that one before this video goes up. If not, I'll try to fit it in. But anyways guys, subscribe if you want to stay updated for the next video. Have yourselves a good day, and I'll see you guys all next time.